Hi everyone, welcome back another session of electronic device class. Today we are going to discuss about reverse bias breakdown. Okay, we have seen in previous classes what is a forward bias and what is the meaning of forward bias and what is the meaning of reverse bias. So before I start the breakdown, reverse bias breakdown, so just we have some brush up of previous thing. We have seen there are two types of current. One is diffusion current, another is a drift current. So total current will be the sum of these two. So in the forward bias, there will be diffusion current and there will be drift current also, but it is very negligible. But in the reverse bias, diffusion current is negligible and drift current will be more. But the quantity of the current, okay, that will be very small value in the reverse biasing condition. Okay, so that current we call it as reverse saturation current. That's what I told, reverse saturation current, right? When V is negative, the exponential term approach to zero and the current minus I0, which is negative direction, this negative generation current is also called reverse saturation current. So in the reverse biasing, the reverse saturation current will be there. That reverse saturation current, look at this diagram. So reverse saturation current is going constant, very small value. Reverse saturation current it's very small value. So it's a very small value, right? It's going constant. But my question is whether if I keep increasing the reverse biasing voltage, I'm applying high reverse biasing voltage. So what will happen? Whether this current continually small and it will be there still. Okay, what will happen to the PN junction? Actually, that reverse saturation current will be small. Okay, until there is a critical reverse biasing. What is the meaning of critical reverse biasing? The concept is very simple thing. Okay, if this is if this is that graph. Okay, so reverse saturation current, I keep increasing the voltage, so reverse saturation current is increasing, but it never continually, reverse saturation current is constant as the voltage increases, and still we increase the voltage, current will not be remain in constant value, it is suddenly it shoot up. So that particular voltage is known as critical reverse bias voltage, VBR. Critical voltage, we call it as critical voltage, represented by the term VBR. When the reverse biasing voltage become VBR, before the current, the reverse saturation current was small and it's constant, but from this point onwards, the current will shoot up drastically. And then small increase of the reverse bias voltage, large current will pass through the PN junction. Okay, that's what told here. At this critical voltage, the reverse current through the diode increase sharply. Okay, and relative large current can flow with a little further increase in the voltage. If you increase very small value here, the current will increase very large value. Okay, so that leads to the breakdown of the junction. If you take a normal diode which is available in the lab 1N4001, if you apply reverse bias, if you apply large voltage, what will happen? The junction will damage. So we cannot apply a large reverse voltage across a PN junction for the normal diode. But there is one case is that there are some diode which are meant for working in reverse bias conditions. Okay, example is our Zener diode. Okay, Zener diode application, if you want to work that Zener diode with a proper application, you're supposed to apply the reverse voltage across that. Okay, so there are some special cases, special diode we have where you can work with large reverse voltage. But a normal diode don't prefer the large reverse voltage across the junction. If you apply a large reverse voltage, what will happen? The junction will damage. You cannot use the diode anymore. Okay. So look at this diagram, the same diagram, the characteristic of diode. So this is forward current. I don't want to explain this again. We have done it. And this is actually we are explaining now. So reverse saturation current is very small, almost zero, very small value till the applied voltage. This is forward. This is also we explained well. This is reverse connection. So I am applying this voltage. E is equal to VBR. When the time become E is equal to VBR, the current sharply shoot up. Okay, sharply shoot up. So how can we maintain that a constant VBR voltage? Using this formula, I can have a resistor over here. If I maintain a resistor, that will limit the current flow through this PN junction. So how can I measure the current? Apply voltage is E and the reverse breakdown voltage is VBR. So if I divide with the resistance, I'll get the current. I'll be getting the current. Okay, I can limit this current. That will be the current where you can see the breakdown. So I need to maintain the current below this value. Below this value. If you find out, this is voltage divided by resistance. E is a voltage. VBR is again a voltage. And if you divide voltage by resistor, you'll get a current. This is the current where the breakdown happens. Okay, so I need to maintain that constant current through this path in order to maintain my junction without breakdown for normal diode. Okay, resistance R can be chosen to limit the current to safe level for the particular diode used. Okay, if the current is not limited externally, that means without this resistance, what will happen? I am not limiting the current externally. The junction can be damaged by excessive reverse current, which overheat the device as the maximum power rating is exceeded. Okay, so what will happen here? If you apply the more reverse voltage, correspondingly there will be more reverse current. That more reverse current will damage the junction because that junction will overheat and it may burn off. Okay, so that will happen if we apply a large reverse current across the junction. Okay, but one thing you should remember. Okay, so the same junction damage may happen in the case of forward biasing also. We have a power rating to every device, power rating. Okay, we cannot apply more than the power rating value. If you apply more than, if you apply that more power to one particular device, it will damage. Okay, so the junction damage will happen in reverse bias if you apply large voltage. The same thing will happen to the junction in the forward biasing also. Okay, if you apply some large voltage across the junction, the diode will collapse. Okay, that also we should remember. Then coming back to reverse breakdown. Okay, the large shoot up of the current is known as reverse breakdown. It occurs definitely the large current shooting up because of the large number of electron flow through the junction. There are two mechanisms. Reverse breakdown can occur by two mechanisms. What are the mechanisms? One is Zener breakdown, another is avalanche breakdown. These are the two breakdown mechanisms possibly happening in our PN junction. Okay, Zener breakdown. Zener breakdown operate in low voltage. Okay, but if anything happening in high voltage, That is avalanche breakdown. Okay. So our Zener diode will work based on the Zener breakdown mechanism. Okay. We'll see that later. Let's see what is Zener breakdown and what is avalanche breakdown. Both causes a high current flow through the junction at reverse biasing condition. Let's see Zener diode first. Okay. So we have seen the energy band diagram and electrostatic potential diagram of p-n junction, and the one thing we have to assume, our p-n junction, p material and n material is heavily doped. Okay, you may be knowing the meaning of doping, adding external impurities with a third column element of our table and the fifth column element of our table. So if you do that, we get a p-type material and n-type materials, and that doping, adding impurity, it's more number of impurities being added. That is meaning of heavily doped material. So when we prepared junction, p-n junction using this heavily doped material, so that p-n junction, that entire block will be heavily doped. So more number of electrons, more number of holes will be there in n side and p side respectively, which causes, if you apply a small voltage, it causes a large current flow. That is a heavily doped junction. Okay, so this heavily doped junction, if you apply reverse bias, what will happen? What will happen to this energy diagram? You see, this is my p type material, this is my n type material energy status, and this is totally together, it's a p-n junction energy band diagram. That valence band of p-type material achieve valence band of p-type material, the level of valence band p-type material will be higher than the conduction band of n-type material. You can see over here, when you apply the reverse bias, we have seen this in previous class. Okay, the level of valence band of p-type material, it's higher than the conduction band of n-type material. So now the conduction band of n-type material, the energy level of conduction band of n-type material is lower than the valence band of the p-type material. So yeah, we know that valence band is fully filled of electrons. Valence band is fully filled of electrons. Okay, in p-type material, what is majority carrier? Holes. What is minority carrier? Electrons. So I'm talking about minority carrier in p-type semiconductors. Okay, so minority carriers electrons are here, and what about the conduction band of n-type? That will be empty. So there are empty energy levels. In this side we have a minority carrier electron p side. What will happen? Once it happening, when the valence band is more than the conduction band of p-type, this gap, this energy gap will be less. So this electron will tunnel to this area and it will occupy here. There is a movement of electron across the junction that causes current. So all the minority carrier electron start tunneling through the junction, because the width is fine. When we apply the reverse bias, width will be large, but in the case of energy, that energy gap is less, narrowing. That is narrow energy gap will be so it's tunnel to the conduction band of n-type material. That's what the when a heavily doped junction is reversed bias, the energy band become crossed. So now this is a normal case. Now it is crossed each other, right? The crossing of band aligns the large number of empty state in the n side, large number of empty state in the n side, and n side conduction band opposite many field state of p side valence band. There are field state of p valence band. What will happen then? What will happen? If the barrier separating these two bands is narrow, tunneling of electron can occur. The tunneling of electron from p side valence band to n side conduction band actually constitutes the reverse current from n to p. This is known as Zener effect. This is known as Zener effect. If more number of electrons are crossing, the current will shoot up. Okay. Then what is the basic thing required for tunneling? One is heavily doped P and N type material, and large number of electrons should separated in P side. Okay, minority charge, and large number of empty state should be there in other side, and the barrier, energy barrier, narrow barrier with a finite height. Okay, if all these conditions satisfied, what will happen? The electron from p side valence band tunnel to the n side conduction band. That is actually the reason for the reverse current. Okay, and that is known as Zener breakdown. Okay, when we keep increasing the reverse bias condition, what will happen? The distance d. What is the distance d? Actually, distance d means the energy gap, this barrier. The d will be less as on increasing the reverse bias. D become smaller, and high electric field result a steeper slope for the band edge. This we have taken in the first some class. When we apply external source, that our energy band that becomes steep. Okay, so when we apply a large reverse current, the magnetic field is more, right? And this slope will be high. This slope will, before the slope is like this. Okay, when you apply this reverse current, the slope will be very, very sharp. Okay, what will happen? This gap will reduce. I mean, the d will reduce. More number of electron will tunnel. So that is nothing but Zener breakdown. Zener breakdown happening in low voltage because of high doping p-n junction, right? Basically the reason is tunneling electron from p side valence band to the n side conduction band. That is what Zener breakdown. And let's see what is avalanche breakdown. Avalanche breakdown usually happen in a low doped junction material. In the case of low, lightly doped, very lightly doped junction, the electron tunneling is very negligible. Okay, and in small voltage there will not be any electron going to generate in the p side. How does generate? There is a covalent bond. When you apply reverse energy, that electron should get enough energy to separate from the covalent bond, and it should come out. That is actually the minority charging areas in p-type semiconductors. Okay, in lightly doped junction, the possibility is very negligible, so that tunneling also negligible. Instead of that, here the breakdown mechanism involve the impact ionization of host atom by energetic carriers. Very simple. Don't be afraid of this sentence. It's very simple. What exactly happening in the avalanche breakdown is very simple. If the electric field in the transition region is large, the electron entering from the p side may be accelerated to high enough kinetic energy to cause an ionizing collision with the lattice. Yeah, let's see the diagram and explain. Here is our p-n junction. This is my p and this is my n, and you can see this is transition region. The width of the transition region represented by W, and this is under reverse bias. This is under reverse bias. So the electric field always in this direction. Reverse bias means what? We have apply here negative and positive, right? Okay, so here we have ion, and we have ion in this side. So electric field is in this direction only. Okay, positive to negative will be the electric field. So what will happen? The minority charge carriers from p-type side, because of the electric field, that will suddenly take into with a high kinetic energy. So while moving in this direction, it may collide with some atom, lattice. Okay, we know what is lattice atom. It may collide with the lattice atom. That collision causes ionizing again. It may release another electron. Okay, once it releases one electron, it leaves one hole also. So the electron is moving from p side, that is a minority charge carrier in p-type semiconductor. It is actually drift because of the electric field to the next side, and while moving it has got a high kinetic energy, and it may collide with the lattice atom, and that collision always a ionizing collision. That means it again release another electron from the atom. That electron created here, new electron created here, and when a new electron creating, one hole also created, because electron is moved from the position that create a hole will move suddenly towards this direction, and this electron will move suddenly towards this direction because of the electric field. And while moving, it may again collide with some other atom, and again what happen? Hole and another electron will create, and hole will move this side, and electron move this side because of the electric field. So it's like a geometry progression. One electron will hit two atom, and one electron generated, or two electron generated, and two will hit another two. It will be 4 and 8. So it goes like a geometry progression. It may be square and cube, or to the power 4, and electron will generate in that manner. So huge number of electron will generate in the junction, and it is passing through the junction. That actually causes a current. That current is because of the avalanche breakdown. Okay, what exactly? The degree of multiplication can become very high if the carrier generated within the transition region and also have ionizing collision with the lattice. So it may happen here also. The collision may happen here also. So that is actually causes of generation of more number of electron. Okay, an incoming electron from this side collide with the lattice and create an electron hole pair. That electron will move towards the n direction, and the hole will move towards the p-type material because of the electric field. Each of these carriers has a chance of creating another new electron hole pair, and each of these can also create another electron hole pair, and so forth. This is known as avalanche process. It's a geometric progression. Okay, so large number of electron and holes pair will generate in the transition region, and will collide each and everywhere, and again it generate another pair of electrons. So that will be the cause of avalanche breakdown. Okay, so the multiplication can be calculated. The multiplication factor m can be calculated 1 by 1 minus v divided by vbr to the power n. N may be 3, 4, 5, 6 depending on the type of material being used for the preparation of PN junction. We know BR is the critical voltage. This is actually applied voltage. So because of these two reasons, the reverse breakdown going to happen in our semiconductor, and some of the cases the reverse breakdown is not preferable. in the normal diode case, a small signal diode case, okay, this is not a preferable. What is not a preferable? Reverse breakdown is not a preferable. So we will keep some precautionary circuit for avoiding this reverse breakdown that leads to the damage of junction also. But in some of the cases, like a Zener diode, it's purposefully created to work in reverse biasing condition, and applications are huge. We are going to see that later for Zener diode, of a Zener application of a Zener diode. Okay, so this is how the reverse breakdown happened. This is how when a PN junction is undergone in a reverse condition, and forward bias we have seen before. So now the PN junction is very clear. PN junction can have two types of configuration. One is forward biasing condition, another is reverse biasing condition. And how does it behave in forward biasing condition is clear to you now, and how does it behave in reverse bias condition is very clear to now. But in both cases, the diode can be damaged if you apply power with this, apply a more power with exceeds the power limit of the device. Okay, thank you guys.